The Sunday Sequence Break.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday Sequence Break. This week, maybe the loneliest TSSB of all time. Where,
loneliest number.
Now, it's episode 142, which many of you astute viewer listeners will be noting, wow, that's 131 more than 10. And you'd be wrong, because it's not. It's a bit more than that. But, you know, it can't be perfect. Good job for trying. That's what I say. Joining me on this very lonely episode is no other host. Look, there's not even a picture for me, look. It doesn't even, this just says Sunday Sequence Break. It doesn't say Flicky or anything, because it's literally me. Gildersneeze's internet somethinged. Feasel's got a really good reason for not being here, but I'm not sure what it is, but I know it's good. I don't know about PJ. Duckfist I'm not entirely convinced is real or ever was. Starting to think I made him up. But really, the important part is that it's me and three very special guests today. We have Robo.
Yo.
That's Robo. This is also Robo. We have HonorableJay.
Yep. Hey guys, what's up?
There you go. Then that's the other HonorableJay artwork if you haven't seen it yet. And then we have Char. We're going to call you Char for the show. That's alright.
Okay.
There you go. That's Char. And then there's the other Char. So we got some good choice of backgrounds today. It's going to be a very quick and lonely recap. Because I have very few people to ask what I did. That's a good question, Feasel. Thanks for asking what I did this week. I'll tell you what I did. That's a good.
Sorry, we'll dub him in later. We'll get it in the edits.
That's a good point, Feasel. I wasn't here last week. I should tell them I've been in the last 2 weeks. Good one, PJ. Last weekend I was in Belgium for a speedrunner excuse to get drunk, and we did very well. We played some video games and ate food and did some drinking, which is always fun. And as for speedrunning, the same things as I did last time I told you guys. So, you know, nothing new is I guess what I'm trying to say. Also a bit of maybe organising an event in the UK in August, late August. Like a DreamHack-esque event. So, there you go. It's also the last week for discounted ESA signups. Yes, there you go. I did it. Robo.
Hello.
What have you been up to this last little bit?
So job hunting. Because I'm looking for a job.
Yep.
But in other kind of video game related stuff. I've been practicing my game style. I submitted for ESA.
Oh boy!
Since you did mention it, so I've actually got new PBs in all three of the games I've got: Alien Breed, WizKid, and Batman: Arkham Asylum.
I hope you didn't work too hard because we're going to cut all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I will. I'll have to cut something of yours if you do. But whatever.
Is that a threat? You know where I live.
There's
That's the
only
scary
one.
part.
I know where you live. I also know that your bedroom is facing the front of the house, and therefore most easily accessible.
Actually, that's not my bedroom.
Oh, not your bedroom. That's
Mine's-
your studio room.
That's my den.
Excellent. I can destroy it without you even noticing.
Why do you think it was my bedroom? There's no bed in here.
Well, I acknowledge it as your room because you spent
Right.
most of the time there.
Yeah.
And therefore, I went from your room to your bedroom.
I love it. Bring girls back to see my bedroom. Yeah, there's the PC, there's the TV and my consoles. Where's your bed? Huh?
Wait, what? Why would you sleep? Surely you just, play video games.
Why do you think I have a nice chair? Oh, yeah, there's no space anywhere else, so we gotta share my bed tonight. Yeah, just sleep on my lap.
So aside from stalking Flicky's place and totally figuring out where his bedroom was, I also got some new PBs for Arkham Asylum, and I watched a couple of films by The Asylum.
Oh, good. Did you watch Bound and Bigfoot by any chance?
I did. I watched both of those movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you think of Bound?
Definitely overrated by some pipes, but otherwise it was horrible and shit. Don't watch it.
That's good. We got to get those inside jokes out there so the audience can feel alienated.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like watching, women in senior positions getting tied up and spanked, then there are probably better movies for that.
Yeah. I would suggest Secretary.
Note to self.
All right.
Or the 50 Shades of Grey movie that was parodising.
Yeah, was that? I don't, no, we shouldn't talk about that now. Let's talk about HonorableJay and what he's been up to this past week-ish.
I haven't been up to too much the past week. I picked up the reboot for Devil May Cry, and I just been working on breaking it, which is very easy.
Yeah, it's
Very
kind
easy.
of already very broken, so it's sort of just like pushing a bit of it and watching the whole wall fall down at this point.
Yeah, but the problem is I got it after the patches, so I don't have access to the really cool tricks.
Oh, I didn't know they patched things. I thought that the definitive edition came with all the glitches it had in the original version.
Definitive edition, I think, is only for the PS4 and the Xbox One. PC just gets the patched version, and thank you, Steam, for not allowing us to keep unpatched versions anymore.
I have the disc version, actually, so...
I may have to fly over there and get it from you.
Well, ESA's coming up.
Yeah, maybe you should fly over to Sweden.
If I had the money, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear, because if you said anything else, it would have been really insulting. Even if I had the money and the time, no.
Even though I could literally have afforded it.
Alright, and last but not least, we have... that's the wrong background, this one. We have Char, or Charlishian. Charlishian. Lando Charlishian. What have you been up to?
I've actually been working on the games that I submitted for SGDQ. I submitted Arkham Asylum and Arkham Origins DLC.
That's another marathon that's worthy of your time, viewers. There you go. You can carry on. Sorry, I was just olive branching.
Other than that, not too much. I've actually come close to getting the world record in that DLC category run, so... Yeah.
Nice. Sorry, I just read Lando Charlie Sheen in chat. And I'm just picturing it. There you go. Cool. Now, let's very gracefully and smoothly, and even, like, I would say, without any kind of, possible way of detecting that we've moved on, go and talk about Arkham Asylum. Now, as some of you may be watching and thinking, man, this episode sure is going to go badly because there's no one else to help Flicky. No, it's going to go as well as I can with the material provided, which means if anything does go wrong, it's their fault. So, we have a doc all about Arkham, we have a load of videos, and I have not been told when to play any of them. So,
Robo, you had one job. Just one job.
Provided the videos.
okie doke. Now, as the most senior speedrunner of this game, that's in terms of how long you've been doing it, not because you're older than them, because I don't know how old they are. Robo.
You mean HonorableJay? He's been running it longer than I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Sorry.
Didn't he take a long
No.
gap where he did nothing?
Well, he did that as well.
Oh, well, okay then.
Take breaks, but no, I'll let Robo take the floor.
No.
I'll happy to take the floor.
You've been hyped up now. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
No, that's fine.
Well, it depends on what you want to know about it.
All right, Robo, let's go.
Yes.
Wait, which of these is the filler video? Is it Kojo? It's Kojo's one,
Kojo's,
right?
yeah. It's
Okay,
the filler
good.
video.
Let's go. Oh, that resized everything. That is horrifyingly annoying. Okay, cool. Go.
Yes.
Robo.
So, Arkham Asylum is a game where Batman was invited to the Arkham Asylum by the Joker because he promised a party, but there was no cake, and so Batman decided to go on a robbing rampage for revenge and beat up everybody there.
That's a lot like the story of Super Mario 64.
It is a bit like that, except there actually is cake, but Batman isn't really hungry for cake.
Oh.
So essentially, there was recently a fire at Blackgate's prison, which is where all of the normal criminals are kept, and therefore Arkham Asylum, which is where all the supervillains in the Batman's universe are kept, are hosted with a lot of very powerful villains and a lot of very high security prison areas, and it's not really equipped to do them both. Batman catches the Joker after not really something that happens before the game starts. It's just kind of a
That's the cake thing, right?
And then it turns out to be a trick.
Oh.
And Joker somehow escapes during the beginning bit after about... Basically, there's a 6.5 minute walking sequence in which you get to hear Mark Hamill just hamming it up in so many amazing ways. As he starts to enact his secret plan to do Jokery things, and you've got to figure out what that plan is and then stop it.
Nice. There you go.
By punching things.
Yeah, it also a lot of punching. There's also bits where you ride on big guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although the riding on big guys thing is very much minimal in a speedrun.
Ah, good.
You tend to do it a lot more in casual play.
This guy just died.
Yeah, so the Beta Titan, which is the first one you see, which is Joker's kind of experimenting with what will become the Titan formula, after you kind of
He looks like he gets so emotional that he kills you.
Yeah, you basically have to nearly die to him, and then he gets a sudden heart attack.
He gets really emotional. He realizes what he's done.
Yeah.
All right, now,
Besides how terrible it is.
Jay, then, you can tell me about the history of running this game. Tell us about it.
Well, running it used to be, you just do everything as efficiently as possible. We didn't really know how many areas we could skip, so we were just, okay, we can skip this small fight and this small fight, but all the main Predator fights, boss fights, we had to do all of it.
It's sort of pseudo open worldy, right? The pseudo non-linear, right?
It's almost, I don't know, it's sort of Metroidvania-esque in the sense that everything is open once you get the relevant upgrades that allow you to get into those areas.
Nice.
Yeah, the only problem with this game when it comes to skipping is it's all chapter-based. So if you get into an area that you're not supposed to be in and you're in the wrong chapter, there will be like nothing loaded. But anyway, the game really didn't start to get broken until guys like Diabuck and Ollie JS100, the European guys. Once they came into the scene, they really started breaking the game open. They found out first we could skip Nightmare 2, which saved off about 15 minutes, which I think they found that right before, what is it, HDQ 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, right before then they found that. And then from there, it was just, oh wow, we can skip this fight, and then we can skip this fight, and then oh my god, we can skip this fight. So
and
then the last thing that we just recently found a couple months ago, a gentleman by the name of Akion. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right.
I don't know. I always call it AK because he highlights the AK. I think it's enough.
I always called him Akion as well. So
yeah.
Yeah, so he comes in and out of nowhere goes, "Hey guys, did you know you can do zipping in Asylum?" We're like, "What? What are you talking about?" Because zipping had been known in City for a long time, but we never knew, we could do it in Asylum. We're like, "Oh, this game's rock solid," and then he comes in and goes, "Nope, it's not."
Yeah, what he meant was that you can't zip the same way that you zip in Arkham City.
Yeah, the mechanics behind it in this game are just really strange. We still don't really know how it works. We just know it works.
Yeah.
And from there we go, okay, well, what can we do with this? Oh, let's chop out another like half an hour chunk of the game. So it used to be 2.5 hours on easy. Now it's down to, I think, about 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Kojo's is 1 hour, 21 for PC, and console you're probably looking at, just under 1:30 is probably the best time you can possibly get.
So category-wise, it's easy, hard, 100%, or
pretty much.
Yeah, it's easy, hard, and then there's 80% and 100% in each difficulty.
And do you guys split PC and console?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's stuff in PC that makes it about 10 minutes faster than console.
I thought, can you zip in PC?
Yeah, but you have to zip in a different way.
Oh.
So the normal, it's weird, the normal corner cover zip, as it was originally discovered, doesn't work on PC. But because of a little thing called corner cover storage, where you, as the name suggests, you store the corner cover state and then use that to zip, that does work on PC. So it still does work on PC, you just kind of got to go a bit sort of a roundabout way of doing it.
Anytime I hear storage, I just think of that Cosmo copy pasta. You can storage yourself a delicious Domino's deep dish pizza. Alright.
You basically do just storage yourself throughout the game.
So it's not really split. They're like, you don't really split console or PC.
We don't split it properly, but PC is definitely quicker than console.
Right.
Plus you've also got quicker loading times and the other things.
And 4K HD gaming and so on, right?
Yeah.
All that bollocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can stream in 420p from a PC.
Alright, so, and then as far as running it goes then, so you said originally it was how long was easy?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, and who were like the original
It became a
guys?
thing when a dude named Master Z got it to just over 210.
Right.
That was an amazing time when he did it.
Yeah. Then it sort of keeps going down in chunks ever since then, I guess.
Pretty much. As soon as someone finds a new skip, we're all over it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
it
we
goes
see
down by
another
a
10 minutes
chunk.
gone.
Yeah. It goes down by a massive chunk, and then he'll slowly deplete by minutes and half minutes.
Yeah. Right. And then in general, the game, previously it wasn't really glitchy, and now it's getting more and more glitchy as time goes by then?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think
we
it's
never knew how
arguably-
glitchy it was.
Yeah. It's arguably now the glitchiest of the Arkham franchise.
Except for Origins, of course, which is glitchy by default.
I still wouldn't call
as in
Asylum
terms
that
of how much
glitchy.
you can, in terms of how much you can skip rather than how much you can break the game.
You could still break City much more.
Yeah, but you can't skip as much of it, is what I'm saying.
Right, I gotcha. We gotcha.
Whereas in this you can skip, all of the Predator rooms except 3. Basically the 3 easiest ones you can't skip.
Right.
But everything else you can. You can skip like a lot more of the fights. You can basically skip Scarecrow. He basically shows up now in a speedrun. He shows up at the start of the game. He's like, oh man, he's such a big threat. He really changes the game. And then you never hear from him again.
That's Scarecrow, right? Because you skip his other fights now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it. Just the first one. You just saw it. Done forever.
That's really funny because so many people talk about how great that is and how it's the best part of the game.
It is. Like when you're playing casually, the Scarecrow sections are the highlight of the game.
Yeah.
They're just so amazing. Yeah, we don't do them anymore.
So then, as the very rush notes state, times gradually decreased until bell skip, and then that cut to.
Yeah, basically it was just, small pieces, and then bell skip, we lost a huge chunk, then, a little bit smaller, a little smaller. And then, they found, I think, Predator room skips, where we basically knocked out all the Predator rooms, and then the final trick was the zipping, which we're still working on how much time we could shave off of that, because there's a lot of potential in it, but controlling it's really difficult. Because of another lovely mechanic with frame rates, which I don't know if you really want me to go into. I can, but
well, let's save it until the audience are like really thrilled.
Okay.
We'll save it as like the slow bad song at the end of the night. How about that?
That works. That works.
We want to clear the club.
How about you all join hands and we'll talk about frame rates?
When we'll clear the dance floor with the frame rate discussion.
Except for all you lovely couples out there.
This one's for all the couples who just love frames. This one's for you. All right, now records. Do you have info on the records? Records who what
Yeah.
any basic times and so on.
So I mean, the current record is the one we're watching the highlights of, essentially, which is the easy mode speedrun by Kojasal, who destroys Arkham games generally. Very talented. So his easy mode time, which is the one we're watching now, is 1:21 something.
Actually, this is the 123. This is the only video I have access
123.
to. If he has 121, I don't think he's put it up.
Okay, there is. I'm pretty sure there is a 121. Remember seeing that. And then his hard mode is a 141, although it might be 123 for easy. The hard is definitely 141. And yeah, that's sort of utilizing all of the current strats. The hard one isn't fully optimized. I know. I mean, for instance, my summer best is 138, and my current PB is 142. So the hard one is still coming down, but easy is very, very optimized at the moment if you're taking 121 as a benchmark.
Then hard mode is hard mode the main category really, or?
I'd say easy mode is probably the main category in the sense that everybody who runs Arkham Asylum runs easy mode,
Right.
and then some of those run hard mode. So I kind of prefer hard mode mainly because if you make a mistake, you're actually punished for it. Whereas if you make a mistake in easy mode, then it's kind of slightly inconvenient and you get shot a bit. And in easy mode, Batman basically deploys his bullet sponge technique.
Is that the anti-bullet spray, right?
Yeah. So
It's like
so
Bat
Bruins
Shark
shotgun
bullet.
him, and Batman just goes, "Oh, this is slightly annoying."
Yeah, you know.
I prefer easy just because fighting on hard, it gets kind of boring after a while. You don't actually fight them. You just knock them to the ground, punch them in the nuts, and walk away. Over and over again.
Well, the thing is, I have the same criticism against easy mode fighting, which is you get a critical strike against all of the goods, and then you get another critical strike, and then they're knocked down. And that's
And
kind
you
of it.
don't punch them in the nuts?
You also punch them in the nuts,
okay.
but while they're standing up.
So what you're trying to say, both of you, is that either way the combat's terrible. That sounds like what you guys are trying to tell me.
The combat is really good and it's really fun, but it's basically we have found this is the problem is we have found the optimal way of fighting,
Yeah.
and therefore there's no point in doing the fights any other way. So I mean, the game has an amazing combat system where you get to look at different combos. You've got counters, you've got instant takedowns, you can throw one goon into another, you can cape stun them, you can use your backclaw and drag them along in a kind of scorpion get over here moment. But none of that is relevant in a speedrun. In a speedrun, you just go, okay, it's easy mode, therefore I do a critical strike and then do another critical strike and he's knocked down. Or in hard mode, I have to knock him to the ground as quickly as possible, use a batarang because it knocks him down for slightly longer than kicking them to the ground, and then do a ground pound on them. So, it's just one of those things that speedruns kind of ruin, to be honest.
That's fair.
It's the same with many games.
Happens in a lot of games, yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, speedruns ruining the otherwise beautiful Scarecrow segments by completely ignoring them.
Another one is that speedruns completely ruin Bayonetta 2's combat system, to the point where anyone who's tried to run it is now in endless arguments with people who haven't, telling them that their combat system's shit, when for everyone else it's great, for us it's not. Anyway, right, now, here we go into... Oh, you filled this out. Oh my god, you did. Okay, now, you have some important skips and tricks and stuff to talk about. You already discussed the general idea, you're ahead of me. That's good. Now, you have these videos. I have 5 videos here, none of which have any of the words that you have here in your glitches and tricks section. So, you're going to have to guide me to where in the video you're going to be talking about these things. So, I guess Zips is first, I would suppose. That's the big one now.
I guess so. So that's the video that had the back computer glitch.
Oh, back computer glitch. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the Zips showcase.
Nice. Okay.
Not in the sense of showcase in the sense that you can. So basically, when you go into corner cover mode, you can kind of line up and throw a batarang, and when you try to aim a batarang, Batman gets the batarang out of his utility belt and he starts aiming it, and then if you release the button, then Batman puts it away. If you then try to get it out and throw it and get out of corner cover while he's doing that put away animation, then it puts Batman into a kind of weird state, and if you then throw a batarang from that weird state, then Batman just kind of starts zipping about all over the place.
Where in the video is this? Because I'm watching this now and thinking
it's kind of happening at the moment. So this is
the
example when I tried to do it during Bane's fight,
right?
Just to see if I could, and this is kind of what happened. It doesn't actually save time, but it just kind of shows.
Okay, this is the same thing. I'm just making sure.
So this is corner cover storage. So if you do the thing I just described, where you kind of attempt to use a batarang by interrupting Batman's putting away his batarang animation, but using the explosive gel instead, the Batman can kind of store his corner cover status. And if you're in that mode, everything kind of works as normal, except if you're trying to run off the edge of a ledge, then Batman doesn't really want to sometimes. But it means that if you hold the aim button and then try to get a batarang out, Batman goes into... Batman crouches as if he's doing a corner cover, as if he's hiding around the corner from something, even though he's not. He's not behind any kind of cover at all. And then you can still execute the glitch as normal from there.
Dude, look, we got it right here.
So that's what this is doing at the moment. And what it does is it always sends you to the same spot, basically depending on what kind of system you're playing on. So whether you're playing on Xbox, PS3, or if you're playing on PC. And if you're playing on PC, it also depends on your frame rate. For some reason, we think it kind of always sends you to the same place, but the speed that it sends you there kind of depends on your frame rate. So it does really weird things. So in the Bane fight, for instance, which is here, which is kind of just trying to figure out what it does during this fight, is when you use it, it kind of sends you to the same spot all of the time, but it also throws the batarang from the spot that you end up in instead of the spot that you started in. So it just does really weird things to the physics and to the camera, and you can kind of repeat this ad nauseum. The only thing you can't do is you can't throw a quick batarang while you're in this state, although you can throw a quick multi-batarang. So a multi-batarang is one of the upgrades that you can get. So it just does a lot of very odd things that we don't really understand, except for the fact that they send you at very high speeds to other parts of the same map that you're currently on, and sometimes you're going so fast that you go through walls.
Also, sometimes you hit a rock and fly into the air. Yeah.
So if you're going very fast, and that very fast thing happens to include a ramp at some point, then it will also propel you up into the air. That's what is happening right now.
This is the bit I recognise. This is what I was expecting to see when you showed me this video. Right, here we go.
Yeah, and it kind of just darts you into a certain place. And it's weird. It was through this, in fact, that we discovered, because normally all maps, if you fall into the water, then the game goes, "Oh, you fell into the water." And then just cuts into a scene of Batman climbing out of the water to as predetermined spots.
One of my favourite things about the Arkham games.
When you use it, just basically goes, Batman can swim, you can't. Don't worry, we'll sort this out for you. We'll fix this fuck up that you made.
Yeah.
But so this is where we discovered that in 2 of these outdoor maps, it also has the same trigger for if you go too high. If you go too high, the background just disappears and Batman just climbs out of something as if he's climbing out of the water, the same animation. And that's what happens a lot of maps. So in theory, in that earlier map that we were on, there's a very consistent zip that sends you straight to that door. But because it depends on your frame rate and your exact position and like what kind of crap you might happen to hit whilst you're zipping, it's very hard to get it exact. And a similar thing is happening, which is going to come up which is actually useful in the run, because you can do the storage quite quickly if you know what you're doing. It takes about a second or a couple of seconds or so, which is you basically use it to skip a bunch of running, but it leads to a kind of amusing glitch where, because this is the part where Batman is trying to investigate what's happening in Arkham, and he needs more equipment. So he goes, "Oh, I'll just go to the Batcave," and Oracle, who he's talking to in his comms, said, "What the fuck? You've got a fucking Batcave?" Paraphrasing, and he goes, "Yeah, no, I built a Batcave down here ages ago. Didn't you know? I probably should have mentioned it at some points, but there it is."
Because plot.
It's probably because it's not wheelchair accessible. He didn't want to tell her.
Yeah, probably.
He kind of felt that it was a bit insensitive.
Why have I never been there? I forgot to put in a ramp.
Yeah, he looks over at the steel chair, steel stairs, and he's like, "Oh, it's new."
Literally, the only two entrances either involve gliding down a massive long cliff or climbing an almost unclimbable bit of parkour section in the sewers, which are all clumbering and falling apart.
Or zip.
Or zip. But essentially, this zip kind of allows you to get Batman to investigate the Bat computer without actually switching the Bat computer on.
Yeah.
So it just
he's investigating why is the screen off.
Reading valuable plot-related information off blank screen.
Let's highlight this now that you know what you're looking at, and see how long he has been looking at this blank computer. You go. We got a timer in the corner here. Take a look, guys. Take a look.
God. Oh my God! Did you see this? This shows that the formula is missing, but everything else is there. We need to find the Tyson formula now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So zips are used not only to skip, just move more quickly, but you also use them, I guess as you said earlier, it's a bit Metroidvania-y. So do you skip over items that you would otherwise need with it, or?
Well, the thing is we haven't actually found a way to, in theory, it's possible to skip the line launcher, for instance.
He's still looking at this blank PC. I'm sorry.
So after you go to the Botanic Gardens, there's a bit where you pick up a line launcher, and it is possible to not skip. In theory, to skip getting it, because we no longer need to use it to cross the gorge to visit Ivy, because that's in theory skippable. But the problem is skipping it is A, ridiculously difficult, and B, actually slower than not skipping it. So there's really kind of no point, because you'd still have to do the fight that unlocks it anyway. So it's like HonorableJay was talking about earlier. There's a chapter-based system in this game, which means that even though you can get to different places ahead of time with these skips, so one of the things that Diabuck has discovered during his breaking of the game is that you can actually get to the final section with the final boss pretty much as soon as you get into the first outdoors area of the game. It is theoretically possible because the glass that separates you from that area is completely, you can just walk through it, but it's a bit too high. There's a broom next to it, which means in theory you can kind of climb up the broom and climb in, which in theory works, but we've not seen it yet. But we know it's theoretically possible because we know the glass isn't solid. Unfortunately, you can't beat the final boss without the Ultra Batclaw, which is the final upgrade. But also, even if you could beat him, the game still wouldn't be considered complete because you haven't beaten all the bosses and you haven't beaten all of the chapters. So it just kind of release you back into the main Arkham Asylum, and everything else would still be exactly where it was before. So it's kind of weird. So the reason we're able to skip Scarecrow is because, ironically, even though it should be a boss section, the Scarecrow nightmares aren't actually triggers that cause the next chapter to occur. So we know, for instance, that if you could, in theory, skip the first Scarecrow chapter, which is literally just if we could get through an otherwise locked door, then not only would Scarecrow be completely removed from the game, but Batman will spend much of the game with red eyes. Awesome glowing red eyes.
Terminator Batman.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's basically what Diabuck discovered because he played through segments of the game with no clip, just to see, if things still worked. So one of the almost the first thing that corner cover zipping did for us is we, and by we I mean Diabuck, found a way to skip saving the doctors in the medical centre. Because normally Batman goes into the medical centre in order to rescue Gordon. As soon as he gets there, he finds that a number of doctors have been taken hostage, so therefore he rescues them. However, we're speedrunners, so...
Sounds awfully familiar to Arkham City.
Yeah. No, it is remarkably similar to Arkham City. There's a reason for that. So speedrunners basically just say, fuck this. Diabuck found out that it was possible that if you could just get to the bottom of the elevator shaft, you wouldn't have to rescue any of the doctors because they don't count in this chapter trigger thing. So the very second that corner cover zip was discovered, it was a matter of figuring out who figured out Dr. Skip first, and obviously it was Diabuck, which is just finding the right corner to cover the corner cover to do the zip from. And that was that. And it was a similar thing for finding the Skip Scarecrow 3, because there's in theory a back way into the sewers, because you're supposed to go to the sewers to find Killer Croc. The reason to go to Killer Croc is you go to the mansion and you talk to Aaron Cash. For whatever reason, the game has this weird thing where sometimes it forces you to talk to the person that you need to talk to get the information that you need to know where you need to go. Other times you can just go to where you need to go and you don't need to talk to anyone.
Right, that thing. The usual.
Yeah. And Killer Croc is one of those things that you don't need to talk to the relevant guy for. Unless you're doing 100%, in which case you need to talk to him because he causes 3 sets of teeth to spawn, which you need to get 100%.
These might be the worst guards of all time.
They are terrible. I mean, this...
How...
The really terrible thing is how long it took us to figure out that they did this. This is actually quite a recent discovery. Because normally what we did is we climbed up, we threw a batarang at the guards. Normally if you throw a batarang at someone who's discovered you, it doesn't do anything. They just either dodge it or they get slightly inconvenienced and then they shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
With those guards, with the snipers, if you throw a batarang at them, no matter whether or not they've seen you, they just fall down. And then you just, it was a race against time to kind of rip the grate off in time. But then I can't even remember who found it. Just found that if you kind of ignored the guards for a bit, then they just didn't see you. And those snipers are really, really blind. So later on in the game, when you're going to face Ivy as a boss, Poison Ivy as a boss, she's got a couple of snipers stationed outside the Botanical Gardens, and you just kind of run past him and he does not notice you at all. Nice. Even though when you're running, so if you're running full pelt, it's supposedly not silenced. You can still be heard by guards, by goons if you're running at them, and yeah, they just don't hear you.
Right.
Yeah. No.
All right. Bell skip.
Yes.
The number 2, Jay or Char. Which one? Char. Let's go with Char. How much do you know about bell skip? I hope it's a fair bit.
I know it's one of the more annoying of the tricks in the run.
Fantastic. Tell us about it and tell us, Robo, where this video is if there is one.
Bell skip is in this video. It's I don't know what time it is though.
Okay, is it going to be on from here or?
But it's back from here.
Oh, is it where the bell fell down?
It's just after the sniper thing.
Okay.
Give me a sec. I'm finding the timestamp.
I'll race you to it. It's just
okay,
after.
You're there now. You're there now.
All right. Okay. Char. Bell skip. Okay. I hate bells. Don't want anything to do with them.
Alright, so bell skip. Most annoying skip in the game.
Yes.
Primarily, very precise little hole you have to throw a remote batarang through. So usually we take the time and line up with regular batarangs by trying to find the hole. And then after we have the hole lined up, it's pretty annoyingly precise hole. You throw the remote batarang in, and then you gotta, and since the remote batarang in Asylum drives like a tank, you have to try and get that to cut the rope. And you gotta do it at the top of the rope, because if you go down too low, you just get ghost rope.
And you can't kind of partially cut the rope. It has to go through the center of the rope. the center of the batarang has to hit the center of the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I'd not knowingly seen that before.
Yeah. So this skips Scarecrow too. So normally after Scarecrow's second nightmare, you basically spend the nightmare climbing up this weird passage. You skip a bunch of pendulums, and then you eventually shine the light of your soul into Scarecrow's face and defeat him the second time. And then you wake up at this section of ceiling. There's absolutely no way you could have gotten up there at all, except that you now are. And the only way to get down is to cut a rope holding a bell. Diabuck, for it is he, this is always him, spends I don't know how long, because as you can see, these floorboards, you know, it's not just a floor. These are actual, you know, drawn floorboards, and therefore they have gaps. He spent time throwing batarangs at these gaps and found one gap on the right-hand side big enough to fit a remote batarang through. And then, yeah, because the remote batarang, as Charlie said, steers like a tank. It's not like the Arkham City batarang or the Arkham Origins batarang. It also has a 30-second recharge time. So if you miss, you've lost a bit of time with your speedrun to get that. And then that gap that Diabuck found was really, really annoying, and HonorableJay couldn't do it. So he found a better hole to throw batarang through.
Literally in a race.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I much prefer Jay's hole, and you can quote me on that.
I'll quote you on it. I'll bet I'll remember that one.
Yeah.
Robo likes Jay's hole more. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep. Mine's straight and to the point.
Alright, that's Bell Skip. That's pretty cool. Next up on our list of 4 things, we have skipping pred rooms through sneakiness. So predator rooms, I'm assuming. Is this in this video or is it in a separate one?
It should be in this video.
It'll be throughout this video, especially
throughout this video. Okay. Give me a good. I'm gonna guess. How's this?
It'll be.
This is a Killer Croc fight.
This is fight. This is Killer Croc. So no, there'll be a couple before Killer Croc. The best ones are before Killer Croc, actually.
Okay. How's this?
No, just before that. Yeah, just before that.
Let's see.
This is actually corner covers it using again.
Yeah, it was. Right. Okay, let's go with this. How's this one? This looks like it's actually a predator room.
That's doing a predator room.
Okay, so this is what you skip.
Go back. Yeah, you don't skip that one.
Yeah.
Try 12 minutes 57 seconds.
12 minutes 57. I'm on it. There we go. Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it.
Jay, tell us about how not to fight people.
So funny enough, when you get into predator rooms, you don't have to fight anybody as long as you don't let them know you're there. So you just run around them and stay really sneaky, and if you get to a door, you can open it. That's the basics of it. And a few things you can do in some of them, especially the predator room that he's skipping for the second time right now. If you need to get past a thug that might spot you, you can actually hit him with a quick batarang, and it's considered silent as long as he doesn't see you first. So even though he makes a loud noise, hits the ground hard, everyone else apparently can't hear him. But that's the basics of skipping predator rooms. Is just don't let him see you, don't let him hear you, and you can go in and out with no problems.
So you can really just run through them?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Huh. Did they... That's not in City, right?
I don't... Are there any predator rooms that you can skip in City? I'm not sure. I mean, actually, no. In theory, there is one in the sewers, but we skipped that by not going anywhere near it.
Right.
But if you did do that, there's one in the subway. But if you did do that predator room, you could skip it. But we don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't the one just before Steel Mill 2? Isn't that another one we skip now?
We skip that by going out of bounds and not by kind of sneaking past them.
That's true. We kind of walk into the shotguns by going in by out of bounds.
Yeah, which is it's just one of those things, but it is that same mechanic. It is that you know, if in theory you can get through without being seen, you can just open the door and go in, and then ironically, even in some cases, it happens in Origins as well. So at the final offer, which is Penguin's boat, if you kind of get to the door without being seen, then you can just go in it. Even if, for example, the goons see you whilst you're entering the door. They just go, oh, it's Batman! And then they shoot you a few times, and then you just do the next bit. But yeah, no, it's a fascinating thing. So the first one in the Botanical Gardens, you just kind of... Yeah, there's a goon right by the door that you need to get into, but as long as you crouch and get by him, there's another guard nearby that sometimes sees you. But he's not near enough to hear you throw a batarang at his mate. So you can just kind of walk in. Interesting, the goons are still there later on, so if you kind of skip the first fight, if you skip the first Predator room, then you have to skip it again when you leave.
No, technically we skipped that one
sense.
a total of 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though it's 2 Predator rooms, we skip it 3 times. But yeah, and there's another one later in the pump rooms, which I can't even remember who discovered it. It's been known for a while now. But when you go into the pump rooms, you have to basically deactivate one of the pumps, which is being guarded by a goon who is in the same room as the pump. And the pump controls explode when you hack them. And if you can get to the room without being seen, you can use your scanner, you can use your cryptographic sequencer to destroy it, and it blows up, and the goon still doesn't see or hear you, so you can just leave.
Oh, rip.
As long as you don't get seen going in or out, then you're fine, and you haven't had to take out any goons.
I think the one he's talking about is at 2352.
2352, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost did the thing where I went straight to it. You ever do that at school, where the teacher was like, open the book to page 51, you open it straight to 51, you're like, oh! I almost did that, but just a few seconds off. Maybe next time. So this I didn't know you could literally just go through them completely stealthily.
I mean, this is without a doubt. Well, no, this is the second hardest, I'd say, Predator room in the game. The first hardest, in my opinion, being Intensive Treatment 2, the one right before the third nightmare from Scarecrow.
So glad we don't do that one anymore.
But yeah, thing is ironically, even when we did do that nightmare, even when we hadn't skipped Scarecrow 3, you could still skip that Predator room. But basically, you distract the goons whilst you hack the terminal that allows you to get to the next area. And that's it. You just make a loud noise, and they all go to that loud noise. They go, "Oh, where's Batman?" And meanwhile, you're in another part of the level.
Nice. Alright, so, last one then on this list is knowing when to avoid detective sections. You've got a snappy name for this last one. You really went all out here.
It wasn't really a snappy name so much as a description. So, you know, a lot. So, as Jay said, like towards the when we first started running this game, or when this game was first being run, it was all about execution, fights, and I think we'll talk a bit about the combat, particularly with Titans. But just knowing where to go and when is kind of a big part of this game. And so there's a number of areas where, because you're trying to figure out what Joker's plan is and how to beat him and so on, you have to gather evidence which will tell you where to go next. So first example is when Frank Bowles, the guard, totally betrays you. Spoilers, by the way.
Shit.
Although it is literally the first thing that happens in the game before your first combat. So, you know, not that much of a spoiler. But Batman's solution to figuring out where the Joker has gone is by scanning, was by going to where Captain Gordon was hijacked.
Hijacked?
Hijacked? No. Shanghaied. That's the word. Shanghaied by Bowles.
Like, I didn't really hijacked. Like, he's being controlled by tiny men. Like,
Robo, how much whiskey have you had tonight? You going after Bowles' whiskey flask?
You didn't watch Bound. You don't know how much you need.
It took so much to get through that. I've got a whip and everything. That was an in-joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in order to... Not even in order to get... Well, in order to literally open the door to the next area, you have to scan Bowles' whiskey flask in order to detect that we can figure out that where he was going because his breath would have had whiskey in it, and therefore detect the whiskey in the air. But you have to scan it. You have to scan the flask to do that and to move on. Whereas the next thing that you'd normally have to scan for, you'd normally have to scan for evidence of Commissioner Gordon being taken away from the Batmobile, because that's where he drops his pipe, and the pipe leads you to the front entrance of the medical building, which is how you know to go to the back of the medical building. But if you just kind of ignore that completely and just go to the medical building, then the game lets you. So there's a few, and the same thing with Poison Ivy. So in theory, you have to scan. You have to go to Poison Ivy in order to scan her and know how to follow her pheromone trail. But if you don't and you just go to Croc's Lair, then the game just says, "Oh, whatever. You knew what to do."
It's because he's Batman.
Yeah. So sometimes you can just go where you need to go, and other times you just can't, and that's just a case of just kind of assuming you don't have to listen to what the game tells you to, and then adjusting your tactics when the game says, actually no, you do have to scan this. I've decided.
Fun fact about the fight playing now, in one of the highlight videos I was given, I skipped and found this fight and legitimately thought, why is there a Final Fantasy 13 fight in this video? And then I looked a bit closer and I was like, alright, never mind. Also, is this actually the strat?
In easy mode it is. So
right.
So basically with Poison Ivy, the way you're meant to do it is you're meant to dodge her attacks for ages, and then she kind of raises up high, fires little power beams at you. I presume they're kind of variants on Solar Beam. Yeah. Because she's a plant type.
Mm-hmm. And Batman's a bug type, right?
Yeah.
Like
and then you wait till she opens.
Wait, Golbat's poison.
She opens her shield in order to laugh at you, and then you throw a batarang at her.
Yeah.
And it takes off a small chunk of her health.
It's an awful lot like the fight at the beginning of Final Fantasy 9. That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
or the fight in Final Fantasy 10.
Except you're not trying to protect the guy in the middle.
Right. You're trying to hurt her. Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different.
Whereas in practice, throwing batarangs at her when her shield is closed does a small amount of damage. So basically, the whole fight becomes just throw batarangs at her all of the time until she goes down. A strat which is completely replicated in Origins when you fight Firefly, which just becomes instead of it becoming throw batarangs when he's vulnerable, it becomes throw batarangs all of the time forever.
Yeah. I liked his fire. It looked pretty.
Yeah. It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't like much about that game. I liked his fire.
No, I liked the concept of the Firefly fight until I quickly realised that it was literally the Poison Ivy fight, but with fire instead of plants.
I liked the concept of the game and its plot.
Yes.
That was good.
No,
the plot was really good on paper.
Yeah. Until it turned out that it was the Joker all along.
Yeah. And like half the characters you're excited about weren't involved.
Yeah. Until it turned out that all of the fights were literally fights from Asylum or City.
Feel bad for the few of us who were excited to see Lady Shiva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, she's actually in that game? I never fought her.
She's not really, no.
No, she's a side quest and not much of one of them.
You don't fight her. To spoil for everybody, you literally, like, she leaves you a message, you go find her, you fight a bunch of her goons, and then she's like, maybe you could be ready, Batman, but not until you kill someone, and then that's it. And I was like, no.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm Batman now. So, I mean, that leads a nice segue into the boss fights in this game in general, which... I think no one would disagree.
An enemy will run at you.
Huh?
An enemy will run at you, and you have to dodge out the way of their running.
Yeah, so that's the Titan fights. The Titan fights are, many times repeated, in various guises, and actually do, as far as I'm concerned, kind of form interesting, if repetitive boss fights, because you kind of have. because you're gonna have to do different things each time. So when it's the beta Titan, the first Titan that you fight, you basically have to let him wail on you until he has a heart attack, and he won't wail, and he won't have a heart attack until you're nearly dead, or until a certain amount of time has elapsed. Then you fight 2 Titans with no. Well, then you fight Bane, who's kind of a Titan but also a villain, and he will charge at you, and then some goons will come to help him, but there won't be much help. So you kind of have to basically throw a batarang at him when he charges at you, so that he hits a wall and does damage to himself.
A real fresh and interesting fight, that one as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they ran at a
like a
wall.
Matador thing.
What? That's new. That's new. I think we need to start a campaign to make that banned. Like, just ban bosses running at walls, and you dodge them, and then they hit the wall. That needs to become illegal.
Yeah, like, especially Bane,
Yeah.
because the thing is, it's kind of bad in Asylum, but it's particularly egregious in City, where not only do you defeat Bane because he runs at a wall, you do it in a cutscene, so you don't even do it, and it's not even a wall. It's an open elevator which Batman then closes by throwing a batarang at it, and it's a really flimsy metal grated one that Bane somehow cannot rip open.
It just needs to be illegal.
Not only would he not do that because he's too intelligent.
Maybe that's the reason why in Origins, that's why they made the Bane fight such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I liked about Origins, is the fact that the Bane fight is actually a challenge and not just throw a batarang at him until he hits a wall.
I might be misremembering as we go a little bit off track.
Yeah.
The first fight against Killer Croc. Does he run at you and you dodge him?
No, he runs at you and you have to get out of the way, but he does not hit a wall.
Right, he doesn't hit a wall, you're right, yeah. You throw him things when he picks up the canister. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, if he runs at you, then you have to get out of the way because he will murder you.
But he won't hit the wall.
But he won't hit the wall.
But he doesn't actually murder you,
because
that
would be retarded.
Didn't you point out that you cannot mash and he won't do anything?
Yeah, you can get to the points where he tries to bite you and you're supposed to mash to get out of it, and if you don't mash to get out of it, then he bites you, but it doesn't kill you, and it's quicker than not mashing. So if you don't take any other damage throughout the fight, then it's quicker to just let him bite you. Right,
anyway, so then boss fights, Ivy you throw lots of stuff at.
Yeah, Ivy throw lots of stuff at. Bane the interesting thing with Ivy, actually, which is, again, a thicker dieback discovery, is that she has an attack where she grabs you with her vines, and if she succeeds in doing that, she will, whilst her vines are squeezing you to death and you have to mash A to get out of it, she will open her little shield and mock you. So if it only really works in easy, because in hard mode it does too much damage to be viable, but if you throw a batarang exactly the right time, then you can throw a batarang, get grabbed, and the batarang will hit her after her shield is opened, and it will do a bunch of damage to her.
No.
So you kind of have to sacrifice your own health to do it, but it's easy mode, so whatever.
One question I have.
Yeah.
We're sort of wrapping up to the last bit. What is it about Arkham games where they always have something unintentionally hilarious right at the end boss fight? Like, I'm thinking here where you seem to explode when you punch him.
Yeah, so Batman's finishing move is to spray explosive gel with his hand.
Oh, is that what he does?
It when he punches the Joker.
Right, and then in City there's him with the sword, which is also really funny.
Yeah, he dives into Clayface with his sword.
And he sword
because
stuff everywhere.
Because Clayface has swallowed the vial with what is it that he had? The cure to the Joker Titan
Here's
disease.
the exploding punch.
Yeah, this is the exploding punch. Kaboom.
And then just him with the sword as well, I just couldn't help but laugh just watching him flip all over the fucking ring with the sword all over the place.
It's like, fuck's sake, why did we get Batman with a sword from the start? We knew it was going to be this awesome.
Yeah. Oh boy, we're looking at other stuff now. Anyway,
I mean, that's the thing, that's the kind of, I guess, it's a bit similar to easy mode fighting, is that you critical strike and it just basically wrecks everything by just kicking things normally, and that's just timing, which is pretty easy itself to pick up. With hard mode it's a little more challenging, because in hard mode you go into critical strikes because it's a waste of an upgrade. Instead what you want to get is combo batarangs, which is a an upgrade that allows you to throw batarangs during fights that actually knock goons down, and then once they're knocked down, you do a ground pound on them, which takes them out. Now the ground pound is a pretty fun attack because it involves crime punching, but it does leave you vulnerable, so you have to make sure that no one's going to attack you while you're doing it. Another way of doing some fights is you can also use explosive gel to... You have to have a lot of time to actually lay in explosive gel, but it does have a massive exploding radius, so it can take out a lot, knock down a lot of goons in its wake, and it would keep them knocked out for a long time, more than long enough to do ground pounds on about 3 or 4 of them. So you kind of got to be careful about how you do that. So this fight that we're watching now is the Elevator Titan fight, which is probably the hardest fight in the game. Because there is a fight later on that pits you against 2 Titans with a bunch of goons. In my opinion, that fight is actually easier, mostly because you can use one Titan to hit the other Titan. So both double Titan fights, they just if they whack each other, they can do more damage than you do to them. So it's actually not that hard to get them to hit each other, because you can either just have one of them swing at you while he's near the other one, or you can literally once you take down a third of their health, you can just ride them, and the one you're riding can hit the one that you're not riding. So, but this Titan fight is kind of a mixture, really, of throwing batarangs to knock goons down to keep them out of the way while you focus on the Titan, using the bat claw to yank the goons into the electrified fences, of which there are helpfully 3 of them, which will instantly KO any goon that kind of walks into it. It will also stun the Titan if you can get the Titan to walk into it. And then when you are a bit clear, you can use the explosive gel to kind of skip phases of the fight. Because what would normally happen is if you get onto the Titan while he's stunned, you can ride him around for a bit, and you know, you can have a lot of fun by riding the Titan.
No, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. It's worse than fighting normally.
That is one of the most frustrating game mechanics ever, just trying to aim him.
That's another thing that needs to be made illegal. Riding on a big enemy in games is always disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we only do it when there are 2 Titans on the scene.
Oh yeah, for the Elevator Titan fight, it is actually possible to get a 1-cycle Titan on it and then actually yank the wall off.
Yeah.
And just skip the other 2 waves.
Yeah, if you're on easy mode, then kind of each successful attack string you do on it will knock it down by a third of its health and enter the next phase.
Alright.
But yeah, you can also take it out with gel.
Okay, now, I mean, I'm just letting these videos run, and is there anything else you guys want to sort of...
just kind of the differences really between the, or highlighting the differences between different hard fights and easy mode fights, which is, the hard fights kind of using the gel, so, I mean, this one that we're watching now is in the penitentiary, so a very popular tactic for a while was to simply yank goons, because you can use, there's a number of open areas, and that pit next to it is bottomless. So you can totally just use the backclaw to draw the goons into it, and they'll die, or not. They probably won't die because Batman doesn't kill, obviously.
Still my preferred strat.
It's still the most entertaining strat, but unfortunately it's not the quickest. But he's definitely the most entertaining.
Well, also it's also the most reliable, because didn't you say it took a while to get the positioning right for this video you did, just to get it?
To get it this good was a bit lucky, but generally you can kind of get most of the goons into a point, because in this fight the floors electrify at different points, so you can kind of get most of the goons either off the edge or electrocuted to death.
Not to death.
I thought I'd make that point.
Batman doesn't kill.
Batman doesn't kill, dude.
Batman doesn't kill, but sometimes electrified floors.
That guy's fine.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't kill. Gravity kills. Gravity's a real bad guy.
And sometimes tigers.
That's why Batman is fighting gravity, right? Those guys are all fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, those 2 guys over the railing, they're good too.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
No
they explode a bit. There's a really good mechanic where, even though we didn't cover this, but it does come up in speedrunning, where if you lay an explosive gel and detonate it, then Batman gets stunned if he's in the radius. There's a number of things that can cancel that. One of which being that Batman can simply dive roll. So if you dive roll so you can press the detonating button and then immediately dive roll, because there's a slight delay between you telling the gel to detonate and it detonating. So you can kind of dive roll through an explosion and not get stunned by it. Or, as I discovered, you can also do a ground takedown on a goon without getting stunned by things exploding in your face. And you can also use the ground takedown to, even while you are stunned, catch a goon that is flying past you because he's been exploded. And just
the magnetic pull?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it's just Batman's awesome catching abilities. I think he used to play minor league. Or little league, whatever it is. You know, before he went to become a ninja.
I don't know. I think Batman seems more like a softball kind of guy.
Softballs are too big and easy to hit. Right?
But just like Titans.
Softballs don't fly at you and like you dodge them though. Yeah. He would have been really bad if he was using those strats. He would have just struck out all the time.
Do you not dodge softballs?
You hit him.
Yeah.
You know, Robo, you did forget about one other trick. Yeah, Robo, you forgot one last trick that they just showed on stream. Duping.
Oh, yes, PC only tricks. Do you want to talk about PC only tricks?
You can do it on console too. It just, you could blow a blood vessel in your arm trying to do it.
No, apparently it's been proven.
Does it actually work on console? I'm pretty sure we confirmed it didn't work on console.
Yeah, someone confirmed it doesn't work. So,
okay, so it is PC only.
One of the things we do in the game is to get Riddler trophies to just get some extra experience. And on PC, for some reason, if you can mash really, really fast, you can pick up a trophy as many times as you want before the game draws the next frame. So if you set mouse wheel down to use, you can roll it really fast as you're picking it up, and you'll, depending on how fast you can do it and what the frame rate of the game is, you can pick it up a lot. Now normally you get 200 experience. The highest I've ever gotten is about 8,000 from one, which is enough for about 3 upgrades right at the start.
I didn't know you see it get. I've seen Kojo get just over 2,000 in speedruns.
Do you have a free rolling mouse wheel?
Yeah, I have a free rolling mouse wheel.
Can you pop it up to the mic and give us a demo sound for those who aren't familiar with this? Because this sounds too good to be true for those who don't know.
This is kind of what it sounds like when I have it locked. And if I unlock it, no idea if you can hear that.
You can hear it. We can hear it. So
yeah, we can hear it.
A lot of that is inputs going through. It's every every few degrees on the wheel is an input. So when you free that on some mice, you can get an awful lot of inputs going through.
Yeah. So this also works because one of the biggest mechanics in the game. So if you're opening grates or
here's a grate coming up now.
With the back claws, then you have to mash the A button. Same with getting free from Titan Ivy. There's a number of mechanics which basically rely on you. So you just saw it just there, where Batman instantly opened the grate. You would not get that on console, for instance, or for people who weren't using their mouse wheels.
Yeah, it's like instant grates.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, now last things. Have you got any this, or should we do learning the game?
I mean, the most obvious thing to learn in the game is to.
Well, there's the seat.
Hmm?
You get one each. So you sure you want to go with this one?
Let Robo do it. I want bloopers.
Well, I have bad news about the bloopers.
Oh, what? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I already told you. Your video is not the most presentable.
That's because all of them came from Twitch highlights. No one had any.
Unfortunately, and I started cutting them around that, and then realized that every one of them is a different layout, and I can try, but it's really hard to see what's going on in any of them, and it's pretty ugly as fuck. So I was gonna.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was gonna not do the bloopers.
We can always put a link in or something.
Yeah. Yes, I would suggest that. Just the first one, as I said to Robo, is like 30% of the screen is Arkham, which when maybe 60% of the stream is game feed, I mean 30% of 60% is not much.
That's burnt pork for you.
Yeah. All right, you get one each then. You get one of these trips each. So use them wisely. I'll just go, Robo, you do the first one, Jay, you can do the second one, and Char, you can do the third one.
Yeah, so I mean the first step is kind of routing, learning where you need to go, and for a lot of that it's just a case of watching a run that already exists. Even the runs on SDA are probably actually quite a good place to start, because it gives you a good way to see the route. It's in high quality, so you can kind of see what's going on, or many of the Twitch runs or speedrun.com runs. But yeah, just knowing where you have to play by the game's rules and scan the stuff that the game expects you to, and where you can just kind of ignore it and go to the next section.
Nice. All right, Jay, tip 2.
Tip number 2, watch for the details. There's a lot of very small tricks that we use in nearly every room in the game, whether it's just corner cutting, running in a certain direction. Perfect examples, the beginning, the elevator climb. We always joke around about how many shimmies did you get, because the very first part of the game where you have to shimmy, normally I think it's like 6 times Batman has to shimmy across, and we always say if you got anything more than 2 shimmies, it's a shit run. So it's just learning where you can cut corners to save time, and there's a lot of them throughout the entire game.
Nice. And then Char, last one.
More or less, after you've gotten those 2 tips down, it's really just learning how to do some of the tougher tricks, like bell skip and zips. Oh, zips aren't too bad to learn, but they can be pretty daunting at first.
Yeah, it's always good to save that sort of thing for later.
Yeah, I mean there's tutorials for both online, so.
All right, cool. That's I thought there was something else to say. No, I was just gonna say the soundtrack I've been playing in the background. It's been like an hour of this soundtrack, and I cannot remember any of it. It's not maybe the best background music we've ever had on the show. Works in game, but anyway, that was Arkham info. Where can people go to find out more Arkham stuff? I think you guys are on speedrun.com, right? All the Arkham leaderboards are there, right?
Yeah, the Arkham leaderboards are on speedrun.com. Yeah, so I mean, me, Jay, Charlie, we all run the game. Koja Sal, especially, as the record at the moment. Very, very talented runner. Darth Knight has some good runs on SDA. He doesn't seem to appear anywhere ever, except on SDA.
Much like Dark Knight himself.
Yeah, a bit of a ghost, but he's got some good runs. And then the rest of the hashtag Batman community. So we're on an IRC on Speedruns Live. Hashtag Batman. Nice and easy. So Burnt Pork, Piston, Phenorus, Sal's Corn,
Tomato Goatee,
Ollie, Tomato Goatee, Ollie JS100, Diabuck UK or Diablo Head, depending on where he's on. There are probably others. Who I missed?
You can name all of them?
I was going to try to, but I think I've reached my immediate memory.
The problem is the more of them you try and name, the more upset the people you forget are going to be.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was quickly realising that, but whatever. If I've forgotten you and you do run Arkham Asylum, then you're just not important.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
Expect a flaming bag of poo on your front door.
I live in Ardingly, so
No, you didn't even say the name right. That's fine. That's fine. You got it wrong. It's not a fucking adverb, Robo. It's the name of a name of the place. Alright. Okay, now, after Arkham, many of you are thinking, man, I sure hope this Arkham music continues, and sorry, it stopped. We're going to go into World Records. Are you guys good to stick around for World Records?
Sure, why not?
Yeah? Nice. Alright. Now, as it's just us four, and there's no smelly other hosts to do a lot of work, and I really miss. We're just gonna pass this one around. I'll call on you if you know anything about a game that's being talked about that we haven't got on here. Then just shout, and I will give it to you. The record, that is, not anything else. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, the other bit. All these records were submitted by you lovely viewers, or I don't know, some of you, on our website tssbreak.com, and I'm going to link that to you in that really clever delay thing where it seems like I'm saying it as it appears in chat when actually I'm not. And you can submit them all on our website. We also have all our VODs and old videos and hopefully some MP3s and stuff on the website as well, if you want to watch us or listen to us at any other point. Also in TSSB, mentioning things I need to mention, we got our first emote of, wait, where did I put it? It's there. It's currently at the top of the screen. TSSB PC Pal, because PC is your pal.
Yay.
And forever will be. For all of you who need free world records in your games, don't slave away practicing or routing or finding new strats. Just pick up the PC version, throw it on an SSD, get a bunch of RAM and a good processor and a decent graphics card if you want, and just steal the world record.
That's my. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
That's how Koja does it as well.
Rebind mashing. Buy yourself a free scrolling mouse wheel. PCs.
Dude, I used to have Arkham City and Asylum running off of a RAM drive.
Yeah, exactly. You probably could still, honestly. They're quite small. Asylum rate. Probably.
Asylum's 8 gigs, but City's 20.
Well, there you go. Asylum you can run off the RAM. There you go. Do that. PC's your pal. It's looking out for you. It wants you to have world records. So there you go. Throw it all on PC. I think that's all. So let's go recordsing. And first on our recordsing list of records, Mr. Robo, you go right away, straight into you. This is your record.
It is me. Yeah, so Alien Breed. So this is a game that Oasis and I have submitted for ESA. Made it through first cuts. So thought I'd put up a run of solo running. This is the first time I got sub 15. So basically, this game is written by Team 17, and it's based on the it's based on the Aliens franchise, but it's not an official Alien franchise game. No. But you can kind of see where the similarities lie. You have to go through this labyrinthine area, and in each level you have to find the thing that explodes the floor and then make it back to the lift before the floor explodes. And in most of those, it involves killing bosses. So the speedrun is essentially getting to the right place quickly enough, immediately executing the boss, and then getting to the exit. I found through experimenting that the shotgun was just absolutely amazing because it can kill every normal enemy in 1 or 2 hits because it travels through them, and it's the 3rd least expensive weapon. So I don't know why they decided to do it like that. You can also buy rockets, which quickly dispatch bosses, but they're very expensive, so you kind of have to go through most of the game before you get access to them. The game is a bit glitchy in the sense that if you're standing in the wrong spot, then aliens spawn infinitely at you, and you can't really get through them. So you kind of have to make sure you know where your camera is. But then also you can use that same mechanic to despawn aliens. So I haven't fully explored that yet, but I suspect that my actual ROM is broken because occasionally the game will eat my keys. Because for some reason you have to find keys on site, and keys are one use only, and they open certain doors. And you can also kill enough aliens to buy keys, which is also a mechanic in the game. So, I'm very happy with the time as it is, but I think it can come down. But I'm also not sure if my ROM is a accurate representation of the game, based on the fact that it occasionally eats my keys and the game crashes when you complete it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Alien Breed, Amiga.
Nice.
Awesome.
Team 17 made worms, right?
Yes.
Ah, cool. Hey, alright, Jay, this is Armored Core Last Raven. I didn't know there were subtitles to this game, but this is your one, so good luck.
Oh, cool. Okay, so Armored Core Last Raven on the PAL version, PS2. It's the any percent Evangel route in 22 minutes 11 seconds. Oh god, this is a name. By Sparking Meteor 1337.
Yeah.
Or Sparking Meteor Elite. He says, I'd like to note that I did submit a previous time. I only got this world record a day or two later, so I thought it'd be okay to resubmit. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that was okay.
That's fine, yeah.
This is a run of one of the 6 routes leading to different endings of the game. This route is the fastest as it has the least missions throughout the run, and most of them are short. Originally, a different route was played that originally clocked in at just under an hour. However, with proper optimizations and different mission route choices, allowed me to shorten the time by just over half an hour.
I'm sorry, what just happened?
Okay.
What? The boss fight.
Oh, I'm not even looking at that. I'm like,
That's
huh?
fine, don't worry. I'm gonna show it again, because it's amazing.
This is, yeah. Let's go find out what awaits us.
Punch. Alright.
Okay, there's a boss.
This reminds me of Silent Bomber, but with punching instead of fighting. You do
Yeah.
the same with giant robots. It's amazing.
Oh no.
Okay, so he goes on to say, this was an almost perfect run of the game. I was only down on a few of the splits, and a max of 10 seconds could be saved if everything was played perfectly with the setup and route. Preferably read on air.
Oh,
Should I read it?
hang on, let me see what it says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. This route utilizes minimal menu times with a route containing a lot of AC fights, meaning it is highly risky and you could die at the final fight of the game.
I feel like maybe he meant read that bit and not the rest, but I'm not sure. But anyway.
That would be best if it was at the start then.
I don't know what he really meant, but I was expecting something really like raunchy. A bit too exciting for air, but it was quite normal, which was good.
You're listening to TSSB. After Dark.
After dark.
Too hot for TV.
It is hard to not do an after dark one when it is so late over here. You know.
It's only 1:39.
It's only 1:39. Yeah. Anyway, this game looks really cool. I kind of like wondering why I've never played an Armored Core game. The good old
the Armored Core series has
PlayStation,
been something, yeah,
third-person PlayStation FPSs or punchy games like this.
Giant mechs.
Yeah, they're the best
feels
ones.
Like, yeah, it feels like I should have played at least 2 or 3 of the games in the series by now, and I haven't, and I feel bad.
All right, Char, this one is for you. I don't know if this video works. It doesn't work.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, it doesn't work.
We're relying purely on your voice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Paint us a picture.
Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. Let's see, this run was done on the PSP, North American version, or NTSU, 100%. Done in 1 hour and 40 minutes and 21 seconds. The runner was Lorian. So here, let's read these notes. 100% is a very tedious category, which can only be timed in RTA. Unlike Rondo of Blood, to get 100%, you need to get all the music CD hidden across the game. And what makes this longer is the fact that you need to do the boss rush 3 times each time to get some of those, making the boss rush more than 50% of the run, with an unskippable credit right in the middle, since you need to beat Dracula to get the full boss rush. This can also be improved by 1 minute, since I forgot an item and had to get it back, but still a very good run until that point with no unintentional death. Also making a very good use of the built-in quick save feature.
I fixed it, guys. It didn't download properly. But there you go. This is it. This is the game. You just got it described to you. You're probably thinking, man, I really do see those music CDs. And the one-hit Dracula's killing and all the other things that were said in the comment while I was busy trying to make this video work. There you go. That's it. This is it. I got it. I'm not showing the video on stream, am I? There you go.
I'm sure it's coming.
There you go. It's there.
Hey!
We got it. We got it there. That was so quick you didn't even notice. I don't think anyone in chat's even going to notice that it wasn't up for 30 seconds. There you go. Check it out. Yeah, I mean, it's a Castlevania game, and I do not pretend to know anything about any of them, which is why I always pass them off to an American. As you'll notice, a common theme. If there's an American around, and Castlevania to be talked about, I will hand it to an American. I'm assuming you're not Canadian in secret.
No, I'm American.
That's good. It's alright. Canadians just Americans, really, when you get down to it. But
Yeah. Well, Canadians are American if they're over there, and they're
yeah,
Canadian if they're over here.
they're basically Americans with a better reputation.
Yeah.
Which they play up to.
They're Americans that are allowed to go abroad.
Right. They're Americans that have a passport.
Yeah.
Have a passport, better reputation, and they play up to it. That's really it, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Now,
we sorted that out.
Mr. HonorableJay,
Yes, sir.
this is another run that one of our guests has done, which is I'm starting to worry about the sheer quantity of the percentage of the runs on this show which were done by you guys.
Well, let me check.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one is DMC Devil May Cry. Game does sound a little familiar.
Yeah.
Let's see. PC, the category New Game, Nephilim difficulty, 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 9 seconds, done by... Oh, that's me. Okay.
Oh.
Now I see why you wanted me to do this. Okay,
Yeah.
that works. Okay, so a game's played on New Game, Nephilim difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty you have from a new game. So I don't have access to Super Dante. I don't have access to all the upgrades. So the beginning of the game is always fun, planning out what fights I'm going to skip, what fights I'm going to actually do, and then trying to make sure that by certain points of the game I have certain upgrades. Now, while this is, 2 hours, 11 minutes, 9 seconds, I started with 2 hours 45, dropped it to 2 hours 35, then got it down to 2 hours and 11 minutes, and as of yesterday, I have another 15 minutes I can chop off of this because I'm now starting to figure out how to do a lot of the tricks on New Game, because most of them require a lot of the weapons, but I'm finding ways to get around that. And what you're seeing right here, as long as I'm not too far behind, this is mission 7, I believe. It's the mission 7 or 8. It's Eyeless, where I'm basically just going above a couple of invisible walls and bypassing pretty much the entire level, going straight to the end, and then straight back.
This game's really broken for those in the audience who aren't aware of that fact.
Oh god, yes, this game is very broken. The thing that stinks is the most broken ability, the infinite glide, they actually patched out, so I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. That's even more broken than what you're seeing.
Oh god, yeah.
You literally just fly.
Yeah, the glide basically becomes infinite. Oh yeah, this is the fun. This is the skip I love the most.
Yeah.
Doing the
Are
enemies.
you basically using a dude
Yeah.
to kind of fly?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you can't fall. Get back here. I need you to do a double jump off of.
Yeah. This is this is a category I always wished people would do, but before I guess it was patched out, you couldn't say don't glide because it was like a stupid rule. So I'm kind of glad in many ways that this glide got patched out so I could see a run that I really wanted to watch. But yeah.
Yes. I'm expected to get another run of that by next week, which should be around 1 hour 50 minutes, possibly lower. Because I mean, I dropped 8 minutes off the run yesterday when I figured out how to get a trick to work. Finally, 8 minutes, yeah, with one trick. I turned one level from 8 minutes to 30 seconds.
All right, okie doke. Now, next up, you guys are thinking Dragon Ball, Shenron no, I don't know how to say Zeds in Japanese, so I'm just going to go with Nazo, just to make it as wrong as possible. Can I make that more wrong?
Nazo.
Unazo. Unazo, there you go. That's more wrong. This is Dragon Ball. Hang on. It is. Trust me. This is Dragon Ball Shenron no Nazo on NES. Any percent is 164609 by Dahaka. It says it's a mere run, nothing special run here except for the strats that will be explained in the Dragon Power Notes. A lot of mistakes were made and I know I can do much better than this. Looking forward to it. So this is the one which is the same as the next game, but this one has Goku sort of in it. And instead of punching random Buddhists, you punch Krillin. Whereas the next one is where you play as the kid with the weird shiny hair / bandana, who's almost racist in his portrayal, and you punch random guys. I got the hiccups now, which is a very bad sign. So I need Robo to read this next one while I hiccup.
Alright, I've got you covered.
It's Dragon Power.
So, this is Dragon Power. run on the NES. It's an 80%. It's 30 minutes and 1.61 seconds by Daka, which is a name I recognise from the past. Anyway, so he writes, shout-outs to TMR for finding something even I didn't know about in level 6, which cuts 20 seconds. I also found a faster way to kill the boss on level 9, but sacrificed around 20 to 30 health. I would have cut the 13 if it wasn't for the final boss hiding in the corner like a jerk, though. Sad face. Overall, was a great run, and it is definitely possible to cut that 13, but that would be difficult. Look forward to it soon enough. So.
Oh wow, I really wanted to see the spelling of that after you said it.
But definitely. Defaintly.
Sorry, Dahaka. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're English. We have to.
Yeah.
It's pretty
the only
much
way
a
we'll
law.
learn. The only way we'll
If you're
learn.
born south of Oxford and you see a word spelt wrong, you have to mock them for spelling it wrong, regardless of where they're from or their circumstances, or even if it was just a typo.
Yeah. Even if the first 3 languages they learned didn't use the Latin alphabet, we have to point it out.
Even if they learned Japanese, Chinese, Russian, and then English, we still have to say, ha, you didn't spell that hard to spell word properly.
You didn't spell that word that native English speakers cannot spell.
You didn't spell that word that has a website dedicated to how to spell only that word because it's such a stupid spelling. It's true, there's a website.
Because
that
your web
spells it
browser
for you.
doesn't have a red squiggly line.
Yes.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Outrageous. Alright, moving on. DuckTales 2.
Ooh.
This is NES, Japanese, 90% easy in 926 by PLD. What's a PLD again, Robo?
Blood.
PLD, yeah. What does it stand for though? It's like a business thing, isn't it? It's like a company.
That's PLC you're thinking of.
Is it PLC? Isn't PLD
Yeah.
also? What?
It's public limited company, but PLD, according to the internet, is programmable logic device.
That's not right though, is it? Political parties? No.
Particio de la Liberación Dominicana.
Dominicana.
Yeah.
You said all of those words wrong. I swear it was. Okay.
Too English.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of PLC. You're right. Okay.
If it's a company thing, you're thinking of PLC.
Okay. Well, let's move on before anyone notices that I made a
So
mistake.
the company man beat DuckTales 2 and then spelled
Good
his
job.
PLC wrong.
Yeah, he meant to write PLC. We can guarantee that. Okay, now. Dungeon Magic. Let's go. Oh, wait. That's not. Did I say magic? It says magic here, but master
It says magic
here.
here.
Oh, boy.
It says Dungeon Magic here.
Yeah, well, let's play the Dungeon Master clip, which I think Feasel just wrote the wrong name. There you go. All right, Char, go for it. Tell us about Dungeon Magic.
Okay. Looks like Dungeon Magic, any percent, Gren? Just Gren. In 14 minutes and 6 seconds by...
Oh, great is correct.
Gren is right.
I asked. Think I got that name right?
I'm gonna go with that. It could be Yast or something.
A speedrun of Dungeon Magic, known as Lightbringer in Japan,
Yeah.
played as Gren on factory default settings. While there are some small mistakes during the run, it is otherwise solid and had some incredible luck in parts. I do plan to run the other characters at some point, but likely not until after SGDQ.
I'm thinking like this might have been the game that was on the show ages ago when we decided that the J in PJ stands for Gren. Like, we decided a long time ago, because I remember being really confused by the name Gren and what it meant, because it's clearly not a name, Gren. And we came to the conclusion that it was meant to be Glenn, and it was Japanese mistranslation, so they just made it Gren. But you're a very burly dude who's punching. He's
Yeah.
yeah.
He's kind of constantly walking that same fist up
Yeah.
move,
He's-
except when you punch things or pull switches in weird orders.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, he's got that fist really just like down there. That's other arm.
Yeah.
And that same stomp. He's got a real
It's
stomp.
constantly.
Look, watch his walking animation. It's a real stomp on that walking animation there. Oh, now he's punching a dragon? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could hear this sound.
Hang on, I'm going to turn my sounds on.
Oh, you're gonna regret that. Do you want me to go back? Let me go back.
Yes,
and then
please.
you can hear it. Okay.
That's just weird.
It's nice. So then he seems to have this dragon in infinite.
Can you sync that up? Can you sync that laugh up with the laughing lips?
Oh, I don't think I possibly could. I did not possess the ability. So yeah, that looks like a fair bit of fun, that game. I was just too busy looking at the hero and questioning his name to like really get too much into it. But congratulations, I asked. Apparently that was played. Oh no, wait, it doesn't say. That might be played on original hardware or like an arcade board. I'm not sure, but you know, good job either way. Next up we have Fear. Now this is by a guy called Swart. Now, why are they challenging us with the names this week? Like, I can't say them.
Why do you think all the other hosts aren't here? They realised ahead of time.
This is Fear. This is PC any percent of 5536 by Swart, who calls it. Who states that this is a pretty terrible run. It lost a lot of time at the start, but after a sloppy setup, I got a first try floppy boost. I didn't lose too much time to pylon skip, which means I could save a bunch of time, but it could have been much better. And then there's what I think is going to be swearing, floppy boost swearing, but it might be a really clever emote. So I'm going to post it in the chat.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to post it in the chat and people can decipher if it's a really clever emote or if it's swearing. But Fear is a really cool game. It was super on sale just recently on Steam if you didn't get it, but it was like a horror-y FPS, but it's really fun both as it's just an FPS in its own right, so I remember we had a bunch of games runs of this a while back. I can't remember who did those, but Swart's working on it now, so good job to Swart. There's no audio on my video, but there's flying boxes, I remember. Yeah, there's a flying box. And, well, you're skidding boxes now. I don't really know what's going on, but good job. Yeah, there you go. There's the flying slidey box. We got it, we got it.
Flying slidey, that's cool.
Flying slidey box. Okay, oh boy, this is one I can sort of talk about. I'll tell you what, I'll make Jay read it and I'll comment if I have any comments. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Alright, let's go. Left 4 Dead.
Okay, Left 4 Dead, PC version, 80% original campaigns in 59 minutes, 38 seconds by a gentleman I'm acquainted with, CyberDemon531. And yes, chatting with him is really fun. Anyway.
So is that just a rhyme?
No.
Oh.
No, it's, he's really interesting to chat with on Skype.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk about that later, though.
Right, alright.
Yeah. Okay, so he says, this run was done in the unpatched 1.0 version of the game so that I can utilize the skips that were patched out in the later versions of the game, such as the Dead Air Crane and Construction Site skips, as well as the Death Toll Church skip. I use expert/easy vote call difficulty switching to kill my teammates during most of the maps that are short or easy enough so that getting pinned by a special isn't too likely. That's pretty mean, actually.
It's
However,
speed strats. It's got to be done.
Yeah, I know. Gotta go fast. However, doing this on every map in a single segment run would be pretty scary. I also utilized the Jesus Rock glitch in the Death Toll finale, which requires killing teammates again. Well, I sense a pattern here. Time's fairly good, but I'd like to bring it down to 55 if I can. Since my sum of best is currently 54, and with more aggressive strategies, it should be doable.
Yeah, Jesus things are just positions where you can't take damage from enemies. So that's Jesus Rock is literally just a rock that means you're invincible, basically. That's what Jesus thing means in this game. If you find a Jesus door or a Jesus room, it's a place where you can't be touched during tough events. But yeah, this is on 1.0, which means a bunch of stupid stuff is still in the game, including infinite throwables, where you pick up a throwable and it doesn't use the throwable, but you get one, and then you have them forever. And yeah, that's that. That's a bunch of action has been happening in Left 4 Dead Land, which is why we also have a Left 4 Dead 2 run. This is a main campaign's co-op run with Deln, Cyber Demon again, Pixel Fart, and iSensia. Let's go with that. That's in 1.14.07. Main campaigns being the 5 ones that came with the game. And it says this beat the old world record of 1:18:38. Most of the run was pretty good except for the end of Dead Center where we lost about 45 to 55 seconds. Sub 1:13 should be pretty easy to do. The all campaigns world record should fall in the near future as well. So yeah, a bunch of people are working on Left 4 Dead at the moment. I don't know, as mean as this sounds, how good they are yet. But I know people are working on bringing down times, so that's a good sign. A bunch of people are saying that they have found a bunch of cool, new, and interesting strats, but I don't know what they are because they haven't shared them. But it's good to see people working on Left 4 Dead 2, and I can't wait until someone gets a run where you get adrenaline round every corner and no one can ever beat it. So, good luck. Enjoy the RNG hellhole that's Left 4 Dead speedrunning. Have fun. It's pretty good. Next up we have Little Samson. Let's give this one to Char. I clicked twice. There you go. Little Samson.
Okay, Little Samson done on the NES. 90% easy in 9 minutes 41 seconds by XDragon95.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got this time forever ago, so I actually had to rewatch the VOD to see how bad I actually was. The new green mage out of bounds was done pretty badly, but then again, the whole thing is pretty finicky. As in, one extra jump and it doesn't work. Fourth try cyan mage out of bounds didn't lose me too much time, but I think there's 7 seconds to pick up there. Lost 5 seconds in gold mage and a bad out of bounds in the final stage, as well as the worst RNG for the final boss lost me another 10 seconds. This run is very mediocre and I feel I should improve it now. However, I'm lazy and probably won't do that for another few weeks.
A few weeks is alright, that's not lazy. A few weeks, I've been putting things off for years. I still owe my sister's birthday presents from like 4 years ago. That's lazy.
I put off like, I think I put off improving the Arkham Origins 100% world record for about a year now.
Yeah, exactly. That's laziness.
I picked up a new game to put off the 4 games I've got on my list I gotta improve.
Yeah. I'm so lazy, the only way I can get things done is if I'm procrastinating doing something I should be doing. That's all. I have to trick myself into doing things. It's laziness.
Yeah, I should make breakfast, but
yeah.
Instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to make dinner from like before.
Yeah. Leaving your alarm running while you go back to sleep because you can't be bothered to touch it. That's lazy. That's real that's laziness.
Yeah, can't even be bothered to use the snooze function.
Can't even be bothered to press it, just wait, it'll turn off eventually, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta.
It's a battle of wills. And it's a machine, it doesn't have any will.
Exactly. Alright. Metal Storm. Speaking of the battle against the machines, Robo, take us through it.
Okay. So, Metal Storm ran on the NES, any percent in 12 minutes and 12 seconds by Backslash, who likes the repetition. He says this is a decent run that is about 2 seconds faster than Uranium Anchor's run. Most of the time gained in this run is from the improved strat on the Stage 5 boss. The boss changes into different forms when he takes a certain amount of damage, and with the new strats you can deal more damage to him more easily and make him change forms in the same positions every time. Other than that, I made some minor improvements in Stage 6 as well, making it a bit more consistent. There's still a few seconds to be saved with better execution, so sub 12:10 should definitely be possible. Wow, so this sounds like it's got a lot of very serious optimization going into it.
It's a really nice looking game which you would have been able to see if I had not messed up.
I recall this game. I saw it briefly before. It does look very
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it again from the start because
this is the one where you have a jumping mechanic, but also a flip through the ceiling mechanic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I recall this one. It's very challenging. I remember when we first started, but once you know what you're doing, it can be very quick but very precision-y.
Precise.
Precise is good.
Yep. I remembered. I got the word.
I knew it was there somewhere.
There you go. That's up to where I forgot to show the video. There we are. Nice.
Okay.
Next up, Secret of Mana. This is an any percent, 1 player, 2 controllers in 156.29 by Stinger PA, aka Solo Co-op. This is
Okay, friendless percent.
yeah, friendless percent. AKA, no, I'm just doing it because it's faster and easier this way. It's not like I don't have any friends percent. Although that's probably not the case with Stinger. This is Stinger PA, maybe Stinger Pennsylvania, who knows, not sure. Maybe Stinger Public Address.
Maybe he's a personal assistant.
Maybe Stinger Personal Assistant. It could be so many
It probably
things.
isn't Stinger, it's probably just his PA.
Yeah, this is his PA, Stinger's PA. So this is Stinger's PA. Yeah, I could have just played with the PA and then they wouldn't have had to do 1 player, 2 controllers, but regardless.
You can't be seen to fraternising with the help.
Yeah, yeah. So in a written email I received from Stinger's PA, it says Stinger would like to apologise to Buffy for disrespecting him prior to this run. Overall, this was an amazing run. He was less than an hour off his sum of best after the first hour, which is incredible by itself. The only split where things went really wrong was in Buffy. He decided that my run was too good. Oh, fuck, I fucked up. I did so well. He decided that... whatever. He decided that my run was too good and it would be funny to waste 2 minutes. After that, though, I managed to get the 1 cycle Mana Beast fight, which was ridiculously hard. He fucked me over by switching to the third person for something else. He already fucking knew I was going to do it. He was like, I know where he's fucking going with this.
Every good PA can sense, you know, what's going to happen when someone else reads
They
emails.
thought, I know where this fucking flicky guy's going to go. He's going to go down the track. He's going to say Pennsylvania and public address, then Robo's going to be on the show. He's going to say personal assistant, then Flicky's going to try and be funny and do it in the third person. Well, joke's on you, Flicky. I fucking know, and I'm going to put a stop to it now. He's smart. He's smart, Stinger. This guy's smart. He's got me. He's got my number. All right. Speaking of numbers, here's some more numbers. Good numbers like 1912.20 in Super Mario Bros. This is Warpless Mario Bros by Blubler in 1912.20. He says, this was the first run in a long time where I did not majorly fuck up in the late game. In World 7 I lost 3 seconds to fireworks and a bad Bowser pattern, and at that point I had to do the wall jump, which I hadn't practiced at all, to remain on world record pace. By some miracle I got it and barely beat the old world record. Sub 1910 is within my ability, but I've been going for it pretty hardcore this week, so I will continue to do runs, but not as intensively. Yeah, Blubber's really, really good at this game. I don't know if you noticed, but he's really good at this game.
Yeah, this is all very precise, like those rotating fires. I don't like the idea of just jump through them, whatever. Done.
Look at that wall jump, look at it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you shouldn't be able to do it.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
Didn't practice, don't care.
Yeah. How many frames is this window? 1? That's 1 more than I need.
I could do this in no frames. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Blubber's... I wasn't expecting it. I like with these records because I never really know if they're running them at that point or not. And then they just show up. They just show up on the show. It's great. I don't have to do anything. They're just there for me. Yeah, good job, Blubber. Well done. Well done. Now, there's 4 runs left. There's 4 of us. One's by Robo, and I don't want to do these 2. So let's give this first one to Jay. No, let's give this one to Char. You can have this one. Mini Mouse with Mickey or something. I'm not sure. This one, though.
The Great Orcus Mystery starring Mickey Mouse for the SNES. Any percent normal in 2054 by Alekian.
I think it's supposed to be Circus, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You said Oikos.
I said Orcus because that's what it looks like.
I like that better than Circus.
I thought it was just like American slang. I just convinced myself that maybe in wherever you're from.
Oh, orcas are like killer whales.
Hey, we heading to the Oikos today? Hey Ma, the Oikos is in town.
I'm not like it. Literally does look
No,
like
it's the font. It's the font. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, it's the font.
Okay, so okay, really solid run overall. Never thought I would be able to get sub 21, but a lot of new strats and really good RNG gave me a 30 seconds improvement over my last PB.
Yeah, there you go. Icon is going to ESA, and this game is currently being considered for ESA, I think, as part of a mass of Disney games, which I've never played any of, but apparently were really popular. But all I know about this one is that Mickey Mouse is riding a horse. What are those horses called? These like brum horse things.
Hobby horse.
Bobby horse?
Hobby horse.
Hobby horse. There you go.
H.
There you go. There you go. Hobby horse. It's hobby horse, and he dashes on it. Really, is what I know about it. Did this is not on here? Sorry, I just found more highlights somehow.
Ooh.
Where did this one go? Why isn't this on here? Anyway, one of these isn't on. Oh no, it is. Wait, did I show it already?
For which
No,
game?
I didn't. Okay, right, it's cool. Carry on. Now, I say carry on, but I haven't told you what to do. Give me a sec. He wrote the Lucky Dime Caper here, but in the video it's just called Lucky Dime Caper. Anyway, the Guardian Legend. Jay, you can read this one, please.
Okay, so we got the Guardian Legend on NES, 100% in 1 hour, 17 minutes and 1 second by Zaki the Goa Dragon. I really wish he kept the other name because they're so much easier to say.
Yeah. I don't even know what a goat...
Goat Dragon or something like that. I don't know. It's like a combination between a goat and a dragon according to his picture.
Oh.
It's weird. Anyway, getting onto the run, he says...
Just, no, I don't... Did someone think that dragons aren't cool enough? And that they need goats to make them better?
Maybe.
Or was it the other way round? And they're like, I like goats, but I would like them more if they could fly and breathe fire.
Maybe I don't know.
That someone releases a goat dragon simulator.
Maybe he like watched Shrek and didn't get that donkey was a donkey, and just thought it was a goat the whole time.
Ah, so when he and the dragon have babies.
Yeah, it will be the goat dragon thing. Like maybe that. I'm gonna go with that one. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, yeah. So he says it's a decent run overall, saving 17 seconds over my last run. A few of the corridor boss fights were probably the highlights of the run. The labyrinth sections went okay, but I failed to execute on a few quick room exit opportunities on mini-boss fights, mostly had bad luck on mini-boss spawns otherwise, and a few times ended up with too much health when I needed to death warp. Ooh, that's always fun. Had just one of those things gone right, this would have been sub 1 hour 17. Sub 117 will happen though, I'll make sure of it.
That's a very long time to be playing a shmup. I mean, it looks really good. It looks really good, which is surprising because a lot of what Zaki plays doesn't look good. And I can't even pretend it looks good. A lot of it looks horrible and painful.
Oh, come on, man. Rambo's the best.
I haven't seen Rainbow.
You can't say anything about Rambo. That game's
Rambo. No, Rambo's awful. I thought you said Rainbow and I started thinking of the TV show Rainbow. Which was,
hey, that was good. I was thinking Rainbow Islands.
Oh, yeah.
If they have a Rainbow Bright video game, I'll be all over that.
I would love for someone to run Rainbow Islands.
What was the name of the hippo thing in Rainbow?
George.
George.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
Zippy George Bungle. Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey the bear, right?
No, Bungle was the bear.
Oh, Bungle's the bear, of course.
Jeffrey was the bloke.
Jeffrey was the bloke. Jeffrey, where's Bungle?
Oh. I'm right here, Jeffrey.
Fun fact about Rainbow.
Yeah.
You probably already know this, but our audience doesn't. While I'm showing the video that I forgot to show, Rainbow was like a sort of children's, sort of educational sort of show, kind of a bit like Sesame Street, but with a lot fewer minorities and way less Americans.
Yeah, much more campiness.
Yeah, a lot more camp. which I guess comes with it being English. There was an episode they did that was purposely full of innuendo, and I think it aired a few times before they noticed.
Yes.
But it starts with Zippy, which is like this brown, I don't know, guy. He has a zip for a mouth.
It basically looks like it's as if, you know, like GIMP masks, as if there was a whole GIMP bodysuit, except it was furry.
It was furry and cuddly and
beige.
innocent. It was innocent as well. It wasn't gross, but it had a zip for a mouth. And the episode starts with him peeling a banana, and he goes, 1 skin, 2 skin, 3 skin, 4, and then the other character interrupts him.
There we go.
That's how the video. Yes. Alright, there you go. Check it out. They go on to talk about twanging their twangers and bouncing the balls, and like the female doesn't have a twanger or a ball or something. Yeah, anyway. Enough about that. Let's move on to the Lucky Dime Caper, which I'm going to take. Now, this is apparently a Donald Duck game, but this is the Lucky Dime Caper starring Donald Duck on Game Gear. This is any percent in 1407 by Mephistus, who says a pretty straightforward and fun game to run. Surely one of the best Sega Game Gear can offer. Sorry, there's a lot of there's a lot of room for improvement in this run. So I tricked myself because I thought he made a mistake, but he didn't. I just read the sentence wrong, and then he did make a mistake, and then I tried to correct it. But anyway, it's a Game Gear game that's good apparently, which, you know, I guess there was bound to be 1 or 2. But Mephistus...
Dragon Quest looks good. That's the only one I played.
Is that Game Gear game as well?
Yeah, it was. I originally played it on the Game Gear.
Oh, but it's just a straight Master System port, though, isn't it?
Yeah, or vice versa. I'm not sure which.
Sure.
I think this one's a straight port as well.
It's really late. I'm just getting tired. Yeah, I don't know if it is because this is really small screen, but it could be. Who knows?
Well, no, they do it with all games. So, like, if you see the SMS Master Sonics, for instance, the Game Gear ones are basically the same, except your character sprite takes up a lot more of the screen, so it's hard to see what's coming next. So it's a much harder game.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's usually identical or very similar.
Yeah. There you go. Congrats, Mephistus. Rumors are he might be coming to ESA, but I haven't heard any more about that.
Oh, Arbitrium says this is a different port.
Oh, it's a different port. There you go. Alright, and finally, last but not least, it was going to be eventually that this game made its way to the 21st century. And I'm glad it's Robo that brought it with him. It's WizKid.
Yes. Yes, so WizKid, in my opinion, one of the greatest Amiga games released. Just ridiculously imaginative, shiny, and absolutely insane. I got 33-23 in this. It's actually 80% played on default difficulties. So yeah, I managed to make a massive time saving here throughout the game, several levels. And yeah, just cut down my time significantly, particularly the first, 5th, and 8th level, and then the final boss, which is basically playing Wizardroids. So yeah, this is a game where you play as a disembodied head that has to bop enemies with bricks in order to collect musical notes in order to rescue kittens. And helpfully enough, you can just kind of skip to the final level, but you actually have to rescue all of the kittens to complete the game. So there's a lot of kind of tight money management because your money resets every level and you have to buy certain things. So this 5th level, which is what you're watching now, the whole mechanic is you have to die in order to complete it, but you're invincible. So you kind of have to buy a hidden screen where you get to blow yourself up with bombs to solve the puzzle. So it's kind of one of those games where you have to solve puzzles, but you also use items from previous levels, which means you kind of have to know what the puzzles are before you get there. So, you know, multiple playthroughs or game walkthroughs and guides. But it's a very fun game, and there's a bit of RNG because you have to kind of depend on getting the right coloured musical notes. And then the final boss is you play asteroids.
For quite a while, as I recall. Yeah,
you have to attain just shy of 56,000 points. And then you have to kill yourself. It's not enough to press escape and quit the game. Because if you do that, then you just lose.
Yeah.
You have to actually lose all your lives.
This was part of a thing where we were discussing with Robo that for everyone in this generation who thinks that they're like the weirdest or they've come up with the most creative things, they just need to go look at
they really haven't. They just need to look back at the 80s and 90s, and there is a more insane game.
It's kind of like weightlifters in like the 70s and 80s. You think you're strong now, there'll be a weightlifter lifting more than you from back then. It's a very niche analogy, but maybe one of you out there is like, oh, that's a good one. So, hey.
Yeah, it's like how people thought, oh yeah, I Want to Be the Boss is the original trial and error game, and then you've got basically every platformer from the 80s was that.
Yeah, poorly designed.
Yeah, either poorly designed or deliberately trolley. Things like Brick Dangerous is the latter variety, for instance. Just excellently designed, but specifically to kill you the first 6 times you attempt it.
Alright, well there you go. That was Records. Thank you very much for all the submissions and all of that. Right, now we got some housework to do. Next week's episode. Oh, I don't know what it is actually. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be something. There'll be something next week will be on the show. We'd like to thank our current guests for being on the show. Hey, the GIF stopped. Hold on, now it started again. There you go. We'd like to thank Robo, Charletian, and HonorableJay for all being on the show this week. Thank you. Do you guys have anything you'd like to say to people who are listening or watching?
I figured
try not to put on clown makeup and kill the city.
Okay, good one.
I'd like to say this to Feasel, Duckfist, and the rest of the guys in the TSSB staff. Please don't leave us with Flicky alone again. Please.
It wasn't my fault. That's the thing. I think we did alright, honestly. I think we did quite well. And I'm also just realizing that I'm very glad that I didn't decide to do this show alone when we came up with the idea.
And it all worked out.
And Charletian, anything you'd like? Any words? Things?
Remember to spay and neuter your pets?
Okay, there you go. Spay and neuter them.
Yeah.
It's not good enough just to do one. You gotta do both.
Gotta be safe.
Well, thanks. I don't know. Wasn't that on an American TV show? They always said that at the end of it.
I think that was The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Was that like a joke or?
I think it was just something Bob Barker just started saying before he went off the show.
If Brucey said it, it would be a joke, but it would be very obvious.
Is Brucey dead? He's not dead, is he?
He's not dead. He's just retired or comatose or something. I don't know.
Okay, something like that. Anyway, shout out to Bruce Forsyth, host of the Price is Right when that was on TV. And do you guys have anyone to raid you can find? If not, I don't mind.
Well, Bushi is playing Spyro 2.
Do it secret. You got to do it in secret, otherwise people get confused. Anyway, I'll round off. I don't know what the show's going to be next week, but there'll be something on. Check it out. Feasel and Gilda on someone at least will be back, so it won't be just me. That's the main point. That's the main takeaway here. I'd like to thank our guests for being on the show. I can't remember if there's anything else to mention. If you are considering ESA, and you should sign up now because the discount thing ends on the 30th. I think SGDQ game submission or game schedule or something is out soon.
Games list comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, there you go. Tomorrow. So look at that. I guess try and be constructive and something. Just in general, that's a general life tip. Try and be constructive. Either literally or figuratively constructive. And yeah, we have an emote, TSSB PC PAL, and we're going to be working on more. But thanks to Gilda for making those. Thanks to I was going to thank our subscribers, but then it sounds like I don't give a shit about the rest of the people. So no thanks to our subscribers. I think that's how it works.
Oh yeah, Diabug has just mentioned twitch.tv/Batman speedruns, which we should have mentioned a while ago.
Yeah,
it's a bot that automatically follows people that are running Batman games.
Yeah. All right, we got a raid target then. Do you want a raid? Oh god. Oh, hey, that can be our raid message. That's convenient. Okay, raid message is this. Raid target.
Oh man, that's gonna be confusing.
Is this, and I'm gonna play 3 minutes of ads after the show. Thanks again to our guests, and we'll see you next week for something.
Ooh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Wait, I need to meet you guys. I forgot. Grumble.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Hang on. All right.
The Sunday Sequence Break.